This is a Red All Over special about the FA Cup tie versus Horsham. It takes into account the preview of the first tie at Oakwell, the reaction to the 3-3 draw at Oakwell, a preview of the replay at Horsham, the reaction of the 3-0 win at Horsham, and finally, Barnsley being kicked out of the FA Cup by the Football Association. It warrants its own show. I hope you enjoy it. This is the Red All Over show. If you're watching, please feel free to subscribe. You know it makes sense if you subscribe. If you're not watching, what's wrong with you? You need to sort yourselves out. Get watching and get subscribed. This is a special one. We've got two excellent guests today. Leading up to our FA Cup match on Friday night against Horsham FC, we've got Dominic de Paula, also known as Dom. Dom is the manager of Horsham FC. Welcome, Dom. Welcome.
Thanks for having us on.
And we've also got Mark Wells, who I'm told, mainly by him, I'm told that he's the Horsham FC historian. Do you do other things? Mark? Are you a jack of all trades?
Well, I'm the programme editor and I look after the website, match reports and things like that. So, yeah, a few fingers and few pies.
Oh, that's good then. It's got lots to do then, haven't you? Lots to do. Does it keep you busy? Keep you out of trouble?
It keeps me busy. It doesn't keep me out of trouble from the wife, but yeah, it keeps me busy, all right.
If I'd like to say both to you, Mark, and to Dom, if you don't understand what we're saying because of this Yorkshire accent, particularly from Smithy, don't worry about it. Just say, what are you talking about? And we'll try explaining in proper English as opposed to Barnsley English, which is not always the same thing. Right, to start with, I'd just like to say this to start with, and it's up to anybody else if they wish to comment. The game has been put onto a Friday night at 7:45 kickoff. It's fair to say it's caused a fair bit of consternation and dismay among lots of people. It's caused a lot of problems for Barnsley fans because they can't make it. They could make it on a Saturday, but not so much on a Friday night. Bonfire weekend, lots of bonfires on Friday night. My son himself and one of my grandsons can't make it because they've already promised to go to a bonfire night. So that's a shame. So that's some money that the club and your own club, Horsham, are not going to be getting, which is a big shame. A lot of fans have expressed incredible dismay, as have I, about a club like Horsham coming all the way from Sussex, all the way down the bottom of the country, coming up on a Friday night, so affecting people who work, people want to, will come on a Saturday, but it's going to struggle to come on a Friday, including players and spectators and, members of the club and what have you, like such as Mark. I just wanted to say that I am very, very dismayed, and I think it was an awful decision to make. Don't think it took into account very much for Barnsley fans, but particularly for Horsham FC and their fans. What would you like to say, Mark?
I completely agree. Obviously, we're not party to all the conversations that have gone on, but it's the excitement at drawing Barnsley away in the FA Cup to a club like ours. It was fantastic. We had lots of people in the clubhouse waiting for the draw. We've been out on social media with the excitement.
We saw the excitement, Mark. We saw that.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I was at home and leapt up straight away. I thought I'm old school, as I'm sure we all are here. The FA Cup is all about the underdogs taking on the big teams. To me, non-league against Football League, it's what the FA Cup's all about. I'm also one of those that Don would love to have had Barnsley at home. It would have been a massive day for us, but also from a supporter's point of view, to go on a trip up to Barnsley to see grounds you wouldn't normally see when you're playing at our level that all adds to the excitement. And I think without any exaggeration, we would have been probably looking at about 500, maybe 600 supporters coming up. But to play it on a Friday night and deny at least 50% of those supporters the opportunity of getting up to the game, it's devaluing the competition. It's devaluing the actual match itself. I know, we were talking earlier that there are some Barnsley fans who have decided they're not going to go, whether it's because they can't go or whether out of protest. But I think it's a real shame because it's going to leave a real sour taste to the actual tie. What could have been a fantastic occasion from a selfish point of view, most certainly for Horsham. And I think Barnsley supporters would rather have seen a big turnout of away fans they've never come across before. And it's just a massive shame. And yes, I'll say it, I can't go and I'm bloody annoyed.
So frustrating that you've gone all the way through the preliminary rounds to get to the first round of the FA proper and to be left like this. It's such an injustice. I feel for you.
Yeah, they're all part-time, so everyone within our squad's got a day job. The logistics of getting up there has been really tricky, to be honest, and we've had to sort of compromise quite a bit in terms of what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. But yeah, just echo Mark's thoughts, really. I think the sad thing about it is if anyone did any research on Horsham as a football club, and I mean, all the interactions we've had with the Barnsley fans, they all seem really, what football's all about. But our supporters, I've been at the club 9 years and been around Horsham and gone and watched them previously. Our supporters are about as friendly as you're going to get. So if it was being made on a pure decision about, managing a game of football, it just doesn't make any sense, to be honest. I think if South Yorkshire Police had maybe discussed anything with the Sussex Police, they would have realised that there's nothing, there's nothing untoward about our football club. My family can't come up, which is a shame. I've got very young kids, and we were going to bring them up, but we just can't do it on that night. My brother's kids are at school, so yeah. I think there's a big chunk of the playing side of it. Our players and everything that just can't get family to come up to the game. So it is a shame. When I was a kid, you guys were in the Prem, so it's
one season, Dom.
Only the
one,
doesn't it? Still counts. But no, it's a
and
big
one
tie
season that, Dom, they didn't want us in it. We broke the mould. We weren't made for Premiership. That season, if you remember it, we had bad seasons to go against us, and we were never going to stay in it. We're never meant for.
Now look what you've done. Now look what you've done, Dom. You've got him up and running.
About that. But no, it's a shame. It's just a shame. It is just a shame that that it is what it is, and we have to accept it. But I feel for the people who can't attend. I feel for some of our players who can't have their families at that game. I don't particularly blame anyone. I just feel like it's not a super. There was no thought behind any of it, and unfortunately that happens so often in football that the people that are actually going to the games, there's no thought given to them. That's football, modern football. We just all have to roll with it. But unfortunately, it's just dampened it a little bit for all of us. Yeah, we've seen a lot of great stuff. I mean, like I said, your support have done you credit so far.
I think there'll be a lot of people looking forward to this match, though, because against a team that we've not played before, against a team that we knew very little about, which is why I'm really grateful that the pair of you have agreed to come on this show so that we can, get some ideas, better ideas than scrapping about on Google. Especially from Mark. I'm expecting War and Peace from Mark in a short while.
Well, we haven't got that long, have we?
I was going to say, yeah. When I ring Dom for a chat for the program, a quick half an hour on a Monday turns into quite easily could be about 2 or 3 hours if we both had the time. So don't give me that opportunity.
I'll go like that then. I'll go like that when it's
We'll summarise each season.
You'll know when it's enough, Dom, because Smithy at his age will have nodded off.
Okay.
Tell me I'm going to say, tell me all you know, but please don't. Tell me about Horsham FC and its background, its history, and all that. Tell us.
Well, let's start first of all with Horsham itself, because I'm sure.
Have you got to read it, Mark? Have you got to read it? Don't you? I thought you were an historian. Don't you just know it? To be like that.
If I'm confident and it makes it sound like I know what I'm talking about, you won't know anday. So I can get away with it.
So whatever you want, can't you? So he won.
I was going to start off with Horsham itself. So for the Barnsley supporters that don't know where we are even, so we're down in West Sussex. So we're about 10 miles from Crawley, about less than 20 miles from Brighton. So that's the sort of area we are, very, very close to Gatwick Airport. The football club officially was founded back in 1881. We played in the West Sussex County League to begin with. And then we basically progressed into the County League. In the 1930s was our heyday. We won the County League title 6 times in that decade, regularly scoring over 100 goals. And, sort of 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 crowds were pretty much the norm back then. But then we went one better and got through to the second round, where we played Swansea City, who were at the time, they were top of League One. They were the highest ranked club we could have faced. We were at home in the first game. We were on Sky TV. We drew 1-1 on a horrendous night. The weather was so bad. It's like what we're seeing at the moment. And the pitch afterwards wasn't playable for about 3 weeks because it took such a hammering. But we drew there and then got a replay away. The first FA Cup tie to be held at the Liberty Stadium. We went 1-0 up, 2-1 up. This was in front of the Sky cameras as well. And then we ended up losing that one 6-2. But that was a fantastic occasion. That was on a Monday night. And I think we took, if I'm right, I think we took just under 400 to Swansea for that. I mean, we nearly went out of business in the late 1970s. And we had some extremely hardworking, selfless characters that were involved with the club then that kept us afloat. One of whom was our much-loved former president, Frank King, who sadly passed away not too long ago. And literally, I think he remortgaged his house and all sorts of things like that to keep us afloat. So we had a bit of a struggle through the 80s. Bit of a resurgence in the 90s, and then I said about that FA Cup run in the mid noughties. But then we fell away a little bit again, and we had to cut our cloth. We were ground sharing. We sold our ground because to be honest, we couldn't afford to keep it going. It was a great proper non-league ground, lovely big long covered sweeping concrete terrace, but the ground was falling apart. So we sold that and had. I think probably about a decade ground sharing at various grounds around Sussex before we got our new stadium, which is now just slightly on the outskirts of Horsham. And the season we moved into it, Dom did the very excellent thing of getting us promoted via the playoffs to the Isthmian League Premier, where we hadn't been for, I think it's about 7 years. And under Dom, we've just continue to improve every single season, and the support started to grow.
Have you still got those? You've not got those players now, though, have you? Please tell me you haven't got those players.
No. We just got one old fellow at the helm still, but a very well respected Isthmian Premier Division team. Last season we finished our highest position ever in our history of 6th, 2 points outside the playoffs. And the club is just going from strength to strength. And I think, getting something like the rewards of a Barnsley trip and the FA Cup, it's almost like the cherry on the top of the cake, really.
Dom, I think he's stealing your thunder a little bit about your style and what have you. I've seen reports of your style being a good football inside rather than lump it up and chase that, passing it and especially attacking down the wings. So for us, that's lovely because we like to see passing football, good passing football, purposeful passing football. So that's something to look forward to. Tell us a little bit more, if you don't mind, Dom, about give Mark a rest because he might lose his voice in a minute. Tell us about your style, formation and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean we've got a couple of ways of playing, and we've been in the nice thing about Horsham. Obviously, I've been here a long time. So we've been able to sort of bed it in. We've got lots of sort of long-term established players with us. So we don't have a high turnover of players. We've got boys who've been with us now 5, coming on 6 seasons, which I think helps, gives you a bit of stability, but also the supporters tend to, buy into players who are there for a while, which has meant we've had like a nice steady sort of progression. But yeah, I think football's I don't like to be bored watching. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the best way to describe it. I think when you watch a game, it's obviously, of course, you want to win, but if I'm standing there for 90 minutes in the rain like I was on Saturday, it's important that you're putting something on that's actually good to watch. And I think players buy into that, and at our levels, it's important that you get players to buy into it, because it's not all financial, and it's not necessarily a career, so you have to get people to buy into your style of football. And obviously we've got the surface to play football, and we tend to attract boys that can do that. So yeah, I think we've got a nice brand of football. I think people come back to Horsham, especially at home games, because of that. Obviously you have to tailor it. Saturday we played on a really tough pitch down in Bath, and there was no football played, but it's it's important to me that people that come and watch games of football get enjoyment and get pleasure out of it. And my view on football is that you should play in a sort of quite an expansive way, and people don't come for tight, boring games. They come to see goals and excitement, and that's what we've always tried to do.
What formation do you tend to play? I've seen 4-4-2 and 4-4-1-1. I promise you, I'll not tell anybody. It'll just
but I mean, variations of it. I think there's slight tweaks and nuances depending on who you're playing and stuff like that. But yeah, variation. What
will you use against Barnsley, Dom, if you don't mind?
Well, to be honest, we were talking about it today. So yeah, we've got a couple of things we look to do. But obviously, we're playing against a team five above. It's not going to be us probably putting our stamp on the game, if that makes sense. I think we have to accept the fact that we're not going to be on the ball. All the things that we're normally good at in a game is probably not going to come into this one. So but formations is kind of just how you start a game, isn't it? I think things move around as the game's played, and we've been watching quite a bit of video of Barnsley this week, and we just need to come up with something that will give us the best chance to be in the game.
Any special particular players that you think it would be good for Barnsley fans to watch out for?
I don't know really. I mean, you think of our attacking players. We've got Dan Ajakai, who's a threat. Jack Mazzone, who last year was our top goal scorer. But we're I think one of our strengths is we're not that team. I don't think we've got those sort of standout players in general. Mark might have a different view because he watches it as a supporter, but from my point of view, I think the thing with us that makes us such a good team is we are a very sort of solid group. We've had Jack Strange at centre half having a great season. Lewis Carey in goal for us, who I think he's got league standard distribution. He's a phenomenal striker of a ball. How he's not played higher when he was younger or whatever, I don't know. I couldn't explain it, because he's so good with his feet, and that's what everyone wants in a goalkeeper these days.
You got one guy that Barnsley fans might be interested in is Charlie Harris, our midfielder. He was actually on Barnsley's books earlier in his career. Wow. If he played at all, he might have played 1 or 2 games, but yeah, he was up at Barnsley.
Let me ask you this, Mark, because I obviously don't want to upset Dominic with this. Let me ask you this. Picture the scene. Few minutes to go. It's 0-0 or 1-1. You're inside the Barnsley area or just outside the Barnsley area. Which player of yours is going to go down like there's a sniper in the crowd?
Well, hopefully any of them, really.
I don't want to scare you both, but we only got 1 penalty in 69 matches very recently, and we missed it, as it happens. Right. Scored the follow-up. But we've had 2 penalties in the last 2 games, so we're on for the hat-trick. So,
okay. Let's hope it doesn't go to penalties this time anyway. Otherwise, we could be playing all night with our record as well. So
yeah, it took us 509.
Bother diving.
It took us 592 days to have a penalty at Oakwell, and then we got one on Tuesday. We got buses. One. It is. Get one. It's like London bus. Yeah. Another one comes along straight away.
Yeah. We seem to be a lot more successful from about 25 yards than 12 yards. So, if the tie had to be decided on anything, we go for free kicks rather than penalties, I think.
No, I mean, from my point of view, I'm really looking forward to coming up, and it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a great experience for our team. And I want to thank the people of Barnsley who have made positive comments around this game and have been supportive of it. As I said, you seem like proper football people, which is nice, and hopefully we, regardless, we have an enjoyable an enjoyable. Some people I'm sure will stay over, and I'm sure they'll have an enjoyable time up at Barnsley, and we can't wait. We're really looking forward to the game, and it should be a good one.
Let me ask you finally, if you feel you can, predictions. What do you think the scoreline is going to be? Mark, you go first. It'll give Dom a chance to think, and Alan. I'll come to Alan last because he really does need time to think. Okay. You can say anything. Say what you want, Mark. Say what you want. Go for it. You're going to win 10-0. Say what you want.
The reality is that it should be a comfortable home win. I've got this sneaky feeling that we could do a little bit better than what a lot of people might expect. I think it would be very, very brave of me to predict a victory, but I would love the opportunity for us to host Barnsley at our place on a Tuesday night. Give you the sort of reciprocate that warmth, but also give you the proper non-league experience down at our place on a cold November Tuesday night.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the journey. You meant the journey.
Well, that as well, yeah.
I've seen your press box. You can't see it corner.
No, I know. That's right.
So go on, Matt. Don't be interrupted by us.
Right, okay. I'm going to stick my neck out and go for a 1-1 draw.
Dom.
You won't get me predicted, I'm afraid.
Alan, what do you think?
Asking that question to a manager, Andy, you should know better. At your age, you should know better.
You've got to try, haven't you? You've got to try. I would expect him to say 6-0 to them. That's what I thought you were going to say. We'll beat you 6-0. That's what I'd have said. Go on then, Al. What do you think, Al?
And we mark one apiece. They deserve to see us at their ground. At least they deserve that. And then we'll go, as you said, thrash them.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. My thing, and I don't want to offend either. I think we're going to absolutely thrash you 2-1. Well, let's hope you'll both and all your supporters, but you'll be made very, very welcome. Well, on Friday night. Let's hope there's fireworks. Let's hope there's fireworks, and it's a great game to watch.
We have a rather unique set of supporters. I don't know whether you've come across this so far, called the Lardy Army. Yeah,
me and Alan could be part of that.
Well, honorary members for the night. So if we've got time, I'll tell you. It basically goes right the way back to the very late 1990s, early noughties, where we weren't particularly putting up any trees, and we had a rather sort of interesting group of guys that very deprecating, singing songs about we're not very good, and basically their ethos is they worship everything that is unhealthy, so like lager and lard, and from that came the nickname of the Lardy Army. And one of the quirky things they do before a cup tie, for an FA Cup tie, especially away from home, they send a bar of lard to the hosting club with the compliments of the Lardy Army, and it's kind of something that they've done for the last sort of 20-25 years now, normally taken with the pinch of salt it's supposed to be. And I know when we did it at Carlisle, the chairman then thought it's hilarious, and they put it out on their social media, but it's just one of those things. It's colourful. It's the Lardy Army almost is all of the Horsham support now. You've got the young kids that are coming up and wanting to be part of the Lardy experience, and it's just poking fun at themselves really, and a proper love for the game. But it just it's just a bit quirky.
I started this show. I didn't expect by the end of it to become an honorary member of the Lardy Army.
There you go.
Something I did not expect, and for that. That's lovely. I know now I can fry me bacon, sausage and black pudding. Thank you, the pair of you. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Absolute pleasure. And you've given us a lot of food for thought, a lot of information that Barnsley fans are going to love. So thank you very, very much. And I can say honestly, the very best of luck on Friday. Normally, I say the very best of luck after Friday or after Saturday, but I actually mean the very, very best of luck on Friday.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Thanks ever so much.
This is the Run All Over reaction show to Barnsley's 3-3 FA Cup draw with Horsham. Not a result we were expecting, but we'll dissect it and we'll get into it in a second. So, Al, a 3-3 draw with a side from the 7th tier, the Isthmian
Premier, Isthmian League, isn't it? The Lardy Army went home pretty happy, didn't they? On Friday night, Barnsley fans were unhappy, to be honest. We didn't turn up. Jordan Williams, for me, had his worst game ever I've seen. Herbie Kane and Callum Styles in midfield I thought they were coasting in game. Didn't really put much into it. Went 1-0 up with Max Swatters and thought, we're going to coast this. It's going to be easy. And then all of a sudden, they come back. Luke's ball, didn't he? Jordan Williams, and put it across, and a good finish by them, to be honest. Straight into top right-hand corner, and you're thinking, this is going to be another Barra. It could be another 5-4. Then they got penalty. I thought it wasn't a penalty. Sat in lower stand, east stand, but then when I watched it back, I think he did catch him. So went 2-1 up, and Jallo, what a goal by Jallo! Unreal talent, isn't he? A lot more to come from young lad. He had a good game, but they tried to stop him. They ensured that he went off injured, to be honest. I mean, Dom said to us that they don't know how to fall down or to get fouls, but they do. They do on Friday night. They do know the dark arts. And then, 2 apiece at half time. Come out second half thinking, come on, we're back in this one. So 45 minutes to win it. Went in front. Header. I thought it was wrong goal, but they said it was MDG. And
well done, Al. Well done, Al.
You like that one? I'd come in there.
Impressed with that, Al.
I got him well there. And then you're thinking, we're going through into second round and in draw. And it coasting. But then again, the beat offside trap and thoroughly deserved the equaliser. Our players were arguing with referee and linesman saying he was offside. It's hard to see. Everybody says he was offside. But credit to him. Dominic, Paula and the team, they've got a replay back at their ground.
As much as we didn't, defensively, there was much to be desired. It's not like we were struggling for chances. I think their keeper made a quadruple save at one point, keeping out and kept out Jallo from a point blank. And as Tracy said, just about everybody who were inside their half had a shot, and so it didn't go in.
Pedestrian infield. We passed ourselves into lethargy. Kept just passing it in front of them, and the Lerrers, and I don't blame him because that's how to players. Lerrers play in front of them. Then the only way we seemed to want to get through was to put it out wide and get them in, and we weren't good enough with the crosses. So that were a bit disappointing. But don't take anything at all away from Horsham. They came with a game plan, as Dominic had said on the away end show. They'd done his homework, and they did. They defended really, really well. They wanted it. They got him. They got blocks in. They broke like we thought they would. They broke with real purpose, and that were really, really good. That were really good to see. I was really impressed with the way that they approached the game. Well done to them, and well deserving.
What worries me, Andy, is another 3 goals conceded at Oakwell this season in a short period of time. That's worrying for me.
Well, we had Fred Carno in our defence, along with Charlie Caroli. I'll explain later, Josh. I'm glad that they've got a replay because their fans will actually be able to go and watch them rather than thinking that they can watch it. No, they can hear it on the radio, and that's all. A big game from it. First round of the FA Cup. No, so for that, I'm really, really glad for them.
I think we've got to be better in front of goal. We have to be. We can't create and have 26 shots and only score 3. And they were great, but let's be honest, they're 5 divisions below us.
The positive side is we're still creating. We're not going to come up against a keeper in the form of Lewis Carey every single week.
I think me and Alan need to have a word with Dom about it's all fair enough. Carey, he needs to give him a rest. He did so much work on replay. Give him a rest.
Their fans who couldn't get up now, they're going to see the Mighty Tykes. That's what it's all about. They want to see the Barnsley, don't they? They want to see the Barnsley. Tell them they want to see the Barnsley.
The Barnsley All-Stars.
They've won the hearts, I think, of a lot of Barnsley fans with the way that they've conducted themselves, the unluck, the shame about the Friday night fixture, the way that Dom and Mark spoke with you two on the away end, home end, away end. They were, I think they've definitely won the hearts of a lot of, and it's one of them where you obviously don't want to lose, but, I'd much rather, in theory, lose to Horsham than like Wigan. So, yeah, that'll upset a few. I've got it on me today. I'm upsetting people right and centre, Andy. I'm sorry. It's just off. Yeah. I'll just need to mention Bolton and then I'll just go.
Just upset the whole. Go through them. Upset the whole of Lancashire. Go on, Stockport, Oldham, United. Upset them all.
That's not fair. When Jonathan, his son, lives in back. Sorry, order.
Rochdale,
that's not fair.
Upset them all.
Anyway, I'll go back to it. Up the Horsham.
Just remember this: Josh lives in Manchester. He's got to go. He's got to go out and about. It's him that you're setting up.
No, don't worry about it.
Well, one of our brethren said that we'd win 20-0. You couldn't be more wrong, Ricky, could you? You could not be more wrong. So there are a lot of 5-0s to Barnsley, 4-0s to Barnsley, 4-1, 4-2s. Loads and loads of them. Well, we got egg on our face. We looked daft. We looked daft. This is the Red All Over Show. This is an away end episode. It's Horsham FC, the replay, the sequel. Call it whatever you want.
Oh, no, and Andy, and there's two unreal Lardy Army lads here as well.
Yeah, come and watch the Lardy Army.
Lardy Army.
And it was, look, it's a tight fit. But it's on, Mark. It's a tight fit. And I would like to...
It is.
Thank you.
Better than the red.
Oh. Right, I'm going to work out on Zoom. I can shut his volume off, Alan. Leave it with me. I can stop him. 3-3. I'll tell you what. For the neutral, what a game! What a game and a half. You tell us. You first, Tom, because you were there. Mark was just listening to it. He didn't even know what happened. He was just listening to it.
I don't even listened. He had a night off.
Oh, I'm sure he. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he listened as well. Yeah.
How did it feel, Mark?
Yeah, no, it was a brilliant night. I think the boys were great on the night. I think we just, they followed the game plan really well, and they put bodies on the line and ran themselves into the ground, which is what we knew we'd have to do. And yeah, it was good. Obviously Lou Carey in goal made some great saves as well. But I think we deserved something out of the game, and it was kind of the perfect scenario, really, given the what we talked about last time on the the Friday situation, the fact that people like Mark couldn't get there. This now gives us an opportunity to have our FA Cup first round in front of sort of the sort of support we'd expect. Although the 500 odd made a real noise, and they were brilliant on the day. We were well aware that there was people that would have 100% attended given the choice. So yeah, it was a funny situation, funny scenario, but to get a replay and now we can hopefully get as many of our supporters in the ground as possible is what it's all about.
And Lewis Carey, you mentioned to us in his last show,
wow,
that he could get into a league side. That performance were unreal. I mean, that quadruple save, which
it was good. Yeah,
really your man at match for me.
Yeah, I blame Jack Brivio for making a terrible pass, which caused him to make them 4 saves. But no, it was he had a great game. He's a really underrated goalkeeper because he's so good with his feet. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for his all-round goalkeeping ability. Obviously he's not a youngster, but he's had a very good non-league career, So he was a big signing for us in the summer. We were really happy to get him in. And he's a great lad as well. So he deserved this sort of moment in the sun there
Can you get him on the bench for Tuesday night as well? Then I'm not kidding. It was like watching Pinball Wizard. It was absolutely superb. You know, based on the stuff that we talked about last time about the Friday nights, that a lot of Barnsley fans were quite pleased at the way it turned out. That we get a second bite, but you get the tie that you richly deserve, and richly deserved on the night as well. Absolutely.
And funds from TV as well, isn't it? That's a big bonus for you lads, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
It is.
Yeah, I think this is another example of what's great about football. Do you know what I mean? I think that, you know, our guys went up there, had a really good night. Lots of drinking in your pubs. Obviously your one's a midweeker. It might be a bit different, but there'll be some of your guys that will mix as well. And I think that's an important aspect of football that gets forgotten sometimes. Like it is the supporters' game, isn't it? So it is the people's game. So the fact that, you know, you might get your some of your guys might be drinking with ours. I know there's been some bits and pieces going backwards and forwards on social media about meetups and stuff. I think that's really good, isn't it? It's like, doesn't always have to be like partisan and, you know, like hardline support, does it? I think there's other aspects of supporting two teams, and, you know, not everyone has to be, you know, it doesn't have to be a complete rivalry. You know, you can support your team in the, you know, as much as you want, but I think that's always the nice thing about some of this stuff. And you know, maybe Barnsley will come down in the summer and give us a friendly, eh?
So I will be at that one. Yeah, I went to the game yesterday, and I must have been asked that about a dozen times by people who knew I didn't go on Friday. And I said, "You better believe it,
Mark. You never mentioned it."
Well, I'm down for doing the match report as well on for the club's website on Tuesday. So there's extra pressure because at least now everyone's going to actually see on TV, or if they're not at the game, exactly what goes on. So the pressure's on me to actually get it right this time instead of making it up as I go along. So, but yeah, I'll be there. I'll definitely be there. There's no way I'm missing this one. I mean, there's no dispute for me that 3-3 result was the best in the club's history. You know, and as I said before, 142 years we've been going. Possibly not the most important. We've had a couple of real massive games that we had to win. But in terms of absolute achievement in holding a team of Barnsley standing, there's head and shoulders above any other result we've ever had. And I think the whole town has come to accept and understand exactly what it means to the football club. You probably saw tickets sold out in record time. I think, well, certainly less than 5 minutes, probably less than 2 minutes when they went online the other day on general sale. And it's just the interest. It's just really captured the whole of the town. It's fantastic, and I think what's helped with that as well, as you said, is this sort of camaraderie between both clubs, albeit it's over social media, but there's a general warmth from the Barnsley guys towards us, and it's certainly appreciated because, you know, non-league football is, on a whole, certainly at our level, is all about that. It's about the friendships you build with different clubs. You don't tend to imagine it happened a bit further up the pyramid because, as Dom said, it is so much more partisan. I mean, we're all biased in our support of our own club, but it's not the sort of heated partisan kind of attitudes that you get when you go further and further up the league, when you get more and more people coming. And you also said about looking forward to playing down the Horsham slope. So I don't know where you've got that from. Horsham slope.
They keep saying it, Mark. I don't know. I can only apologise on behalf of them all, because all I can tell you is that they're wrong uns, and that Smith, I tell you, is a charlatan. 4-1.
What we mean is it's going down south. It's going down south. What's the problem? That's the slope. Get down to you, lads.
I called him out, Mark.
At least it'll be a quick journey for you then. It'll be a hell of a trip going home if you're going uphill.
I would like to give you a bit of advice, Dom, though, for Tuesday night. What I would say is, we're very, very strong on the right-hand side in defence, so don't attack us down the left at all, because no goals comes down that side. You know, I want the best for you, so don't attack down that side, because we're super strong down the right-hand side. So
yeah, me and Andy down that side.
we may as well be. And I'll tell you this: I'm sick. Well, I'm 3 months younger than him, but I'm 69 years old, and this is the first time, I can honestly say, the first time in my life that I've ever worn a shirt from a different football club to mine, to Barnsley, never ever worn another shirt, not even an England shirt. I don't go away all that nonsense. So Barnsley or not. So
that's good to hear. Well, like I said, after the dust all dies down, you've got a non-league club as well now. So
and we will. And we'll continue to talk about it on our show.
I've got to say, I did tune into BBC Sheffield before it because I wanted to see what the locals thought, what their view on us was. And I'll tell you what, if they did the research like Benji and Freddie do, it would be a decent show. But it was I was just embarrassed really listening to it because a lot of it was so off the cuff and completely wrong.
Sorry, Andy, have you got a full squad to pick from for Tuesday, Dom?
Yeah, we're okay. We've got one or two issues we've had since we played you guys. We've got 2 or 3 that have not played many minutes in the last week. We'll survey the scene after. We'll get some information out today, see what everyone is like. Katie, our physio, is very good. At some stage today, she'll send me an update on where we are with all the players after she's spoken to them all, and then we'll go from there really. But yeah, it's been like, understandably, like it's been in the back of everyone's minds. It's been even yesterday was quite tough. There was so much going on before the game. We were really lucky. Obviously, we had Sky down, and they wanted to do some interviews with people, and I don't know. It can be a big distraction, but you can't turn it down. It's an amazing thing for everyone involved with the club. Yesterday, I've never known it so busy. Everyone's running around like lunatics. There's stuff going on all the time. The stadium looks different now. We've got scaffolding everywhere, and it's a real eye opener as well for what you need further up the pyramid. We're told something about 90 from ITV are coming. For their production, 16 cameras, all of these sort of things I've been told this week. So it's it's amazing. I think everyone lost a day's work on Monday from the club because they were in with the broadcasters and stuff. And I suppose this is just par for the course higher up the leagues. But it's been a mad week for us. I think everyone's going to be, looking forward probably to Wednesday back to normality. So it's been a crazy sort of 10 days.
And then another one. Oh, dear me. What a name. He says, Lardy Army, a bit like my grandson. Horsham players go down in the box. Never happens. Well, it did, but it did get taken down. I'm not, and that's from I can't even say Twizzly Dizzly. So what names? Twizzly Dizzly. So YouTube's a wonderful thing. Wonderful. If I remember rightly from the first time, Dom, don't you normally train on a Tuesday night?
Yeah, so if we haven't got a game, we'll train Tuesdays. So it's gonna. I mean, to be honest, this one's even tougher than the first one because at least we had the week off. But in this one, they obviously don't give you the Saturday game off. So yeah, we're going to try and get the boys in tomorrow night to just do a little walkthrough before the game. But it's the life of a non-league footballer. I know everyone's got a working day on the Tuesday. So they'll all sort of rush to the game like usual. We're going to have probably 2 or 3 that are late, even for this big game. Wow. People are travelling. Our furthest away is sort of, on a bad night, it's a couple of hours away when for his drive. So it's going to be a normal midweek game for us. It's always a bit harder for us to prepare for a midweek game. But yeah, so we're going to try and do a little bit tomorrow just to try and do some walkthroughs. And John and Jim, who do the coaching down at Horsham, we're going to put on a little bit for them tomorrow. And then obviously see how we go on match day.
Please don't watch our highlights against Derby and see where Derby's goals comes from. Please don't watch that. And please tell your players that it's not a match day on Tuesday. It's normal training, and for them to just sort of go through the motions and think of fitness. Don't let them try like they did last Friday. You've also dodged the thing that whenever Smithy goes to an away game, like at Derby and every other one, we get all sorts of photographs. We call it Smithy Bingo because on our group. On our messenger group, he sends photo. It's traditional. He sends photos of his breakfast on the way down. He sends a photo of him with a pint in his hand. He sends a photo of him with other fans. And then somebody shouts, whoever sees it first shouts bingo. So at least we're, whatever happens on Tuesday night, we're spared. We spared.
You know, like I said before the first game, I know we're going to give a good account of ourselves, and we did, and we will. You know, we got a strong squad throughout. Whoever Dom picks, we know that they're not going to pass up this opportunity of putting on a good show. But it'll be the first time we've hosted a crowd of this size at the new ground, and I just hoping everything all goes off all smoothly. I think certainly there's going to be no bother between supporters. We know that. We know how, as I said earlier, you know, the camaraderie between the two sets is fantastic. It's going to be a completely different experience for a lot of supporters down there, I think, because, you know, it's going to be very, very busy. But, you know, you've got to accept it for what it is. It's not every day a team like Barnsley comes down to Horsham. Yeah, I just hope it all goes off all smoothly, and just see the guys from ITV down there. It's going to be a very surreal experience.
All the very best, both on Tuesday night and in the future. Thank you ever so much for coming.
Thanks ever so much. Cheers, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
This is another show of me, Josh Everton, Andy Simcott, Alan Smith and Tracy Martin. Last night, much more professional, especially in that first half, which I think all the hard work we've done that first 10 minutes really weren't it?
It was, wasn't it? But we came out at blocks like we've been doing early on in the season, aren't we? We go for jugular in the first 20 minutes, and it paid off last night at Horsham. First goal, Adam Phillips, ball across, and Nicky Cadden. After 2-3 minutes straight in, so you're on front foot, aren't you? And then who pops up then is John McAtee, another nice goal by assist by Aidan Marsh, who come back from York, which I thought he put a decent shift in, and that were 2-0 up. And then what about that ball from Williams over at top for McAtee to stop it, and then that deft touch and chip keeper. I mean, what more can you say about that? That were a class goal. It were easy after then, wasn't it? But second half, I think we sat back and they come at us more, and, you know, unlucky for them not to get a goal.
Yeah, I think bringing Marsh back, you know, it's interesting because I guess he could have had a bit of a mardy on, if you like, about that, because we don't know the circumstances of why he went out. I know it's for experience, but it must have been difficult when he'd played quite a few games and been on the bench and come on in the cup games. But I thought yesterday, particularly the first half, because I thought we were fantastic in the first half, took the foot off the pedal a bit in the second half, and to be fair, they came out and were much better. But his runs into the channels, especially, just helped us out so much, because it took, you know, we've been always waiting for, he was playing more on the left, weren't he? But we've always been expecting Cadden to get down there. But by him running down into them channels, it just gave us that extra sort of space, if you like. And that was obviously the second goal, weren't it, that he crossed for McAtee. But I thought his running off the ball was exceptional. And it just meant that the centre halves, especially, weren't always looking to either play crab football or just to look to the wing backs. It was really nice to see that we weren't just oofing it in the hope that somebody might get a header. We were actually playing it down the channels, and he was running into that. So I was really impressed by that.
Andy, much more professional in this game, and I think you could sort of see from more or less the three goals, the gulf in quality of a League One side to a seventh tier side, and obviously the touch and finish from McAtee for the third, the ball in from Phillips for the first, and also the ball in from Aidan Marsh for the second as well. It were almost that cutting edge difference that you'd expect to see sort of as the game goes on. So, and I think to start in that way, it was nice to see, especially off the back of that Derby result as well.
It was good to see that we could score from crosses. It's good to see that we can get crosses in. That would be a start, and it was. I don't take with this, you know, it's a seventh tier thing against a third tier team, because they were a good side. They were a good side at Oakwell, and to be truthful, they were a good side last night. Apart from the few times when we just fought 3 times, particularly we cut them open. What I especially liked is that because Luca's back and because we moved Jordan back to right wing back, we had, if you like, the old combinations back. So on the left we had Cadden and Herbie Kane together as they were before being able to pass and link up well. And finally, on what what we've considered, or I've considered, a week right. We've had both Adam Phillips and Jordan Williams playing together like they did last season, and both benefited for it from their performance and the team as a whole, because we looked something else going forward down the right-hand side. And defending on the right-hand side, we looked a lot better than we've done in recent weeks. But, you know, the third goal was a thing of pure beauty. You know, Adam Phillips, back to his best with his passing, clipped it. Not many people see passes like that. Clipped it through to him, immediate control, and what a chip. A magician to a magician, a goal. It was a thing of beauty.
I thought it was Williams.
It was Williams.
I also thought it was Williams.
It was Jordan Williams.
I'm not having that. He
It was
changed
your
his
wing back
shirt.
who skipped it over. If you look back, it's Jordan Williams who.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you must be right then. Sorry,
3-1.
Jordan. Sorry, Jordan. That's why you should be at right wing back, Jordan. Ignore what I've said, Adam Phillips. You're not that much of a magician then. I thought you were better than that. Thought you were better than that, Adam. Why didn't you do it, Adam? But yeah, Jordan Williams, so much assured, because he can get down that wing, he can link up, and he gets the ball across. And you know, it showed. You know, we've not had a ball across, and from both sides we're getting crosses in. We're getting people on the end of it. It was lovely to see, and the pressing was nice to see. Second half, it doesn't surprise me that we took our foot off the gas. A bit of a shame, really, that we did. So I'd like us to continue going forward. But all credit to Horsham. They, you know, Dom Gorham fired up at, you know, after being knocked down with two very early goals in the first 10 minutes, and then, you know, and then a third one. You could have had your duck knocked back good and properly, but it pulled them round at half time, and they went for it at half time, and they put themselves about, and they did really well. What did make me chuckle is that as the last match we had, you know, the last match at home, we had one of their fans saying none of their players go down in the box, you know, having a laugh. Well, there were a couple last night that went down trying, I can get another penalty. Sorry, Mark and Dom, they did go down and nobody touched them, but down they went. So that amused me. I thought he were going to get a penalty, but weren't even close to being a penalty. Unfortunately, he got a good view and got the decision right. But yeah, all in all, the professional performance.
We made history. First time we've won on a plastic pitch in 8 attempts.
It looked to start getting a bit frosty. There were a few players from both sides doing a little bit of slipping about as the cold air settled in. But yeah, it was good. The pitch was good.
As Andy's mentioned there, Tracy, credit to Horsham, because obviously in that second half they did come out and sort of, I mean, at that point they've got nothing to lose really, because what's the difference between 3-0 and 4-0 necessarily, and they gave it a good go. They had a couple of fairly decent opportunities, some forced errors on our side, and also some nice little passage of play from them moving forward as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them twice and you know, I can't say I've watched them any other time barring that. I mean, bless them, I didn't even know who they were, so I'm not going to pretend that I'm the number one fan, although I think now every Barnsley fan's their second favourite team. But yeah, do you know what? I thought the quality last night of them was really quite high. Yes, Andy.
Laddie Army.
Like the touch, you know, it's not easy. I know they train and they play on 3G, but, you know, considering the level that they're at, I thought the standard of their play was very good, and they do try and play football. They had some real passages, especially in the second half, where they were good. And I was thinking to myself, why are you playing in this division? I've seen some League One teams that haven't been as good as that this season. So yeah, you know, complete fair play to the club. Everything about them. They've been great, obviously, with us. You know, so accommodating. Everybody that I know that went there yesterday said what a great club they are, how friendly they were. They left us some lad, didn't they, on the top of the dugout, which was really, really good of them. Horsham, like I say, I think every Barnsley fan's second favourite team now. So yeah, come on the laddie army.
Yeah, I think leading on from that as well, Andy. I think you've got an email from Mark, the club historian.
Mark Wells, yeah, I got an email from him after he got. I hope he don't mind. I don't suppose he will. I hope he don't mind me reading it out. If he does, don't sue me, Mark. Don't sue me. Just say it's an old fool that doesn't know any better. This is what Mark tweeted or emailed to me. it's a fair length, but I think it's lovely, and it sums up the club and the fans and everything to do with Horsham Football Club. So that's why I want to read it. I think this is what he said. I think we saw the golfing class tonight, or certainly in the first half. And the last thing we needed to do against a side of Barnsley's calibre was to concede early, which we so obviously did. That said, I was incredibly proud of the spirit, commitment and desire that we showed in the second half. And I'm just so disappointed for the fans that we weren't able to score a goal. It was a fantastic occasion, and I hear that both set of supporters were mixing in the pubs before the game. Yeah, and even heard your fans singing their own version of Lardy Army during the first half. Dread to think what that is. Mardy Army? I don't know. Lardy Army anyway. Who knows? All in all, a wonderful evening, and we wish you all the very best in the next round against Sutton. This has been an incredible last couple of weeks, including appearing on your podcast. That's me and you, Al. He's talking to me and you now, Al. And it has enabled us to put the club on the map. Our thanks go to you, Al, and all the Barnsley supporters for your warmth and support since the draw was made. And forget that you may have a new non-league team to follow. I think we have a new League One team to follow. So it's mutual.
And I've got one from Lardy Army, what come on from Richard. Credit to your team, as they certainly turned up, and credit your fans who were excellent on the night before and in the pubs and town, and for applauding our players off at the end. Class. Pure class.
Lovely.
You got one to read out, Tracy?
No, but I'm going to cry. I feel like it's the opposite.
Love. Did you hear the story about one of my favourite players of theirs, Jack Strange? See the story of him?
Oh, yeah, I did actually.
Oh, I'll just dead briefly. I can't remember which team he were playing, but he was absolutely, during the match, he was absolutely desperate to go to the toilet. Absolutely couldn't wait. So legged off to, have a wee, basically, come back on. The referee who'd already booked him again for leaving the field of play and sent him off. What? What? Have a bit of common sense. What was the alternative for him? Give him a break. But it made me chuckle no end.
Alan, if you stuck with your result from Horsham, what you said on the podcast, and then you didn't do a sneaky change, you'd have got 3 for that, wouldn't you?
I think I might have mentioned that he were a charlatan.
Yes, you did. To
both Dominic and to Mark, a charlatan. Yeah. I mean, who does that, Tracy? It's 1-1. Well, as soon as they've gone, change that to 4-1 to Barnsley.
I think you did that, Mr. Simcox. You did that. I'm following in your footsteps.
I can't. I'm ashamed, Alan. Ashamed of you. It gave me a good laugh, Alan, when you did it.
This is the Red Over Show with me, Josh Everton, Andy Simcox, Alan Smith and Craig Wood. And have we got an episode for you today? The FA Cup news, which came out today, a couple of hours ago, that we have been kicked out of the FA Cup for fielding an illegible player, something which a professional club, I'm pretty sure we're on a very, very short list of clubs that have been kicked out for something like that. A professional side.
We're bad boys, aren't we? Bad boys.
A professional side has been kicked out. So I assume Sutton now get a bye into the third round.
No, they're playing Horsham.
That's good.
Horsham
That's good to see the Horsham have gone through.
Horsham have been given the tie.
That's good. I feel that's a fair way to do it. I did feel like the FA would have gone the other way though and just given Sutton a bye, which is good to see that Horsham have got the opportunity to make their way into the third round. But Andy, it's one of those for me where it's a basic. Clubs up and down the country, all the way down to Sunday League, have to do this in terms of players being ineligible to play in competitions. And also, when the team news was announced, people are commenting on Twitter saying, how's Aidan Marsh eligible? We think it's Aidan Marsh who's the one that was ineligible.
It is, because he came back, he wasn't available.
No, but I'm just saying it's not being confirmed yet who the player is. So it's still somewhat speculation around it. But I assume it's Aidan Marsh, with fans pointing out. But it's one of those, Andy, where we're a professional club. These things just shouldn't happen.
if it is Aiden, it's because at the time of the first game against Horsham, he was on loan to York City, so he shouldn't. So it wasn't. It wouldn't be eligible for the second game. And yes, it's a professional club, and it's crikey, I'm just getting sick of saying this. It's another fiasco. You know, good grief. You know, the West Stand fiasco. God dear me. I'll not mention. No, I will mention Fanatics fiasco, because for me personally, that's still ongoing. But I'll save that for another show and all.
Have a drink, Andy.
I've flipping finished it. I'll have a rant about that at another show, because that's still a fiasco. I can't get my head around it. It's and then this. What I don't understand is, if it's Aiden, it looks like, according to reports, that at the start of this week or two, then we brought him back specifically to play in this game. If that's the case, because we got players, you know, like Devante away on international duty and what have you, so we actually brought him back. So nobody at the club. But in fairness as well, I'm not going to be too fair to the club, because it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, that there is nobody from Khaled downwards can't get their head around that if somebody's eligible or not eligible. Like you said, Sunday morning kids football, they have to look at the pictures and see if they've signed and see if they're registered. We signed for him to go on loan to keep saying Bradford City. Last night it's got to me. You see, a black background, black shirt, because I'm in mourning. That's how bad it's been. York City. How can we not know? But I'll also say this. I didn't know. You know, Aiden's picked. I didn't give it a thought. But I don't think there'll be any supporters gave it a thought until today. Then you think, wow. I didn't know that was a rule, but it clearly was. And somebody within the football club should have known that. We didn't either. None of us. You know, I don't know of any fans that flagged it up, but it shouldn't be down to fans to flag it up anyway. We're a professional football club, and this level of you can say it's anonymous. I'll tell you what I get fed up with. And it's in all walks of life. It's not just in football. I get fed up with people saying that we've done a thorough, deep investigation, and we've sorted it out. You know, we've looked at it, we've identified it, and we've put strategies in place for it not to happen again. Every walk of life says that. And it's like a mantra. We've got strategies in place so it won't happen again. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. There should be no strategy put in place to ensure this doesn't happen again. It shouldn't happen in the first place. It's fundamentally ridiculous that we've had to sign, if it's Aiden, sign his registration to York City, not Bradford City, to York City, and then we don't know what difference it makes. And I know he didn't play for York in a cup competition or like that. I don't get why we can be so, let's be truthful, incompetent in doing that.
FA rules state all players must have been eligible to play the original tie in order to play in replays.
But we didn't know at 10 o'clock this morning, Al, did we? I've not looked at any regulations that said if it's Aiden that he's not eligible to play, but the club should have. So, you know, we might be incompetent because now we know, because we've looked it up and read it, but the club should have already known. So yeah, it's insanely pathetic. Anyway, I'm all right now.
What a couple of days at Oakwell.
Keep breathing, Al.
Jokwell.
You were kicking off last night, Al, and this morning. Come on, let's see your kick off, Al. You have a rant, Al.
ITV calendars, Alan Smith.
Come on, Al. You were kicking
Look,
off.
I got red all over on there. You know, we got a bit of advertisement. Just trust me. The brand went out there on national TV.
I didn't see it.
Oh, he did. You're joking. You didn't see it. He copied it and put it all over.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Alan's put it everywhere.
You gave Alan bingo.
I turned PC on and I can see it on Twitter. I turned telly on and he's on there and all. I said, and now I've just joined this chat and bleeding Alan Smith's here again.
Well, I switched it on and I thought you're doing a red all over show without me. And I thought, no, it's only Alan.
Craig, you were trying to say something there mid-Andy rant.
Sorry, Craig.
What were you trying to say?
I was saying because Marsh were on loan at York City during the first match we played against Horsham, then he automatically became ineligible for the second leg of that tie. So that's the reason why we've been kicked out. The absolute incompetence is glaring. If people can say, "Oh, you didn't know this before," it's not my job to know. It's my club's job to know, and they didn't. And for me, the absolute lack of knowledge is. I mean, this club. Why is it always this club that has to make an absolute fool of itself every time?
I looked on Twitter earlier, and there were fans in the comments of the team sheet for the Horsham replay who said, "Is Aidan Marsh available to play because of his loan to York?" And it's just one of them things where if there's someone who is not close to the sport in terms of making them decisions and informing people of them things, then why isn't there? Because I know Khalid's mentioned previous, like, about all these processes in place to build the infrastructure within the club to allow it to be self-sufficient regardless of who's in post in certain positions. It just feels like that falls down when things like this happen under, doesn't it? When we've had obviously the number of fiascos of Fanatics, Hex, West End closure, and now this. It always compounds things. But I will the same respect to that. At least it gives us something to talk about on the podcast. So maybe that's why they're doing it.
That's something to talk about. Good things to do with football, and when we're rubbish on pitch and when we're good on pitch. I don't remember us starting this show so that we could talk about all this nonsense. It should be about the flipping football, but it don't seem to be, Al, does it?
It's basics of running a football club. Your administration, your paperwork is the basics of a football team, whether it's professional, amateur, Sunday league. Your paperwork has to be correct. And why somebody at our club hasn't picked that up is beyond me. And our fans who travel to Horsham and spent all their hard-earned money, had a day off work, what about them? I mean, they've nothing to show for it except a night out in Horsham. They ain't got a second leg to go to. And some of our fans have already booked tickets to go down to London for the Sutton game. Now, that is poor. That is really poor. And I feel for these who's got the tickets and not going to get a refund on them. It's wrong. Sorry, rant over.
I mean, we could very easily have lost to Sutton United, but if we hadn't, just say we'd have booked the trend and actually won. Look at the money we've chucked away. Look at the amount of money we've chucked away through incompetence.
It's a lot of money. Every round you get more revenue from it, don't you? And you know, that's the miss. I mean, yeah, we've lost out as fans, money in his pockets, and we've lost. Yeah, you've seen the game, but you've not gone through to the second round, and it's a big loss to our football club. Yeah, we got 25,000 being on TV, but it's nothing compared to what we could have got by keep progressing.
Well, I mean, no disrespect at all to Sutton United, but I hope Horsham go through and they play away to somewhere like Manchester United, because they'll get a lot. They'll get the money that we could have done with, but they'll get a lot of money that they could do with. Some emails from our mate Mark Wells, who's a historian for Horsham. They were on the away-in shows twice, and he's also the programme fixer-upper, the programme creator, does the match day programmes, which incidentally, and I'll just say this, incidentally, and it's me and Tom Webster, I keep telling you that I'm a soothsayer. We ordered 3 Horsham versus Barnsley programmes, and Mark has got them signed by the Horsham players and is sending them to us. Well, they could be collector's items. They could be absolute. We've won that team. The Horsham teams have signed it for us, and the game. It's the match day program for the match that we got kicked out of the FA Cup. Previous cup winners, 1912, I know, but previous cup winners kicked out the competition, and we've got a signed program. So, you know, we could make a right load of money. This is what Mark said, bless him. This is what he said. He said a few things. He started off because this, you know, disappointing, not half Mark, disappointing result for you guys last night, even though it was the EFL trophy. Hopefully you're saving yourselves for Lincoln on Saturday. They scraped a 1-0 league win against Margate last night, so they're still going strong, Al. Our Lardy Army's still going strong. but the crowd were 5 times lower than happened against us. He just wanted to let us know that he's got the programme signed and he's going to get them to me. Then he got me someone saying, importantly, I assume you've heard the news. Well, I had, Mark. I had. Importantly, what a disaster. Obviously, we're elated at being reinstated, but there's a hollow feeling that it has come through presumably a genuine mistake. It'll be devastating news for all Barnsley supporters, I'm sure, and you have my sympathies. Yes, yeah, obviously, Mark. Obviously, he wonders if we'll lodge an appeal. I don't think we are. So all I would say to Mark, both for the
an appeal means you have a defence. We ain't got a defence.
Yeah. Well, I suppose they could appeal at the appeal about the punishment. Does the punishment fit the crime? But I think it's all sorted out. So he sends our sympathies. So his sympathies. So and he's asked me to say it on behalf of Horsham fans as well, that that they're obviously elated, but also sad that a team that they've started to follow as well, which is us, it's been at our expense. So, but that's how it is. So, thank you, Mark, and all our fellow Lardy armies, Al.
Lardy army, we're all right, Andy. We can start cheering.
Good luck in the next round, lads.